Have you ever worked so hard for something and then felt the ground shift beneath you, as if the very people you trusted were pushing you down instead of lifting you up? And have you ever wondered what to do when betrayal comes not from a stranger, but from someone who should have had your back? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are stepping into a story about betrayal in the workplace, minus the kind of betrayal that sneaks up on you and leaves you questioning your value. Sometimes the betrayal is obvious, sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it comes from a bad boss who's trying to protect their own power. Other times, it comes from a coworker who quietly undermines your work. The first idea is this: betrayal is never about you failing. It is always about the person betraying you and their inability to handle their own insecurities. The second idea is this: karma is not just about what happens to you. Karma is what you practice when you are faced with injustice. If you respond with bitterness, you feed the cycle of negativity. If you respond with wisdom, you create space for transformation. Let me tell you a story about a man named Michael. Michael was not the type to rock the boat. He was quiet, diligent, and methodical. He didn't seek the spotlight, but when he was given a project, he gave it his all. He believed in doing his work with integrity and patience. He thought his co-workers appreciated him for that. He thought they respected him. But one day, that illusion began to crack. It started with small things at first. A colleague named Sarah started making comments about Michael's ideas in meetings. They weren't outright negative. She would say things like, "Oh, I see what you're going for, but I think it would work better if you changed it this way." Michael would listen, nod, and adjust. He was the type to argue. But over time, Sarah's suggestions became more frequent, more pointed, and less constructive. It started to feel like everything Michael did was wrong in her eyes. Then came the bigger moments. One afternoon, Michael discovered that Sarah had taken credit for a proposal he had worked on for weeks. It was a mistake. Sarah had mentioned it to their boss, and the idea was presented as her own. When Michael asked her about it, she simply smiled and said, "I thought it was a team effort." Michael wanted to say something. He wanted to confront her. He wanted to expose the truth. But something inside him held back. Maybe it was his nature. Maybe it was his fear of confrontation. Maybe it was his belief that if he just kept working harder, people would see his value. But as the days went by, he couldn't ignore the gnawing feeling inside him. He felt cheated, betrayed, and yet he said nothing. Weeks later, Michael found himself in another meeting. This time, Sarah had presented a report that Michael had worked on and had been excluded from. His name wasn't mentioned, and none of his contributions were acknowledged. When their boss praised Sarah for her excellent work, Michael's stomach twisted. The hurt was deeper this time. The realization was sharp. The betrayal was just personal. It was professional. It was about his future. And still, Michael said nothing. He went back to his desk, feeling small and invisible. The resentment started to grow in his chest, like a slow minus burning fire. He wanted to scream, to quit, to let everyone know the truth. But instead, he buried it. He buried the frustration. He buried the hurt. He buried the fear that his career would suffer if this continued. Then something unexpected happened. One day, Michael's boss, Jack, called him into his office. Jack had been his manager for years, and although they weren't close, Michael had always respected him. Jack had always seemed fair, supportive, and honest. But as Michael sat down, he could tell something was off. Jack didn't look him in the eye. He avoided the small talk. "Michael, I've been hearing some things from the team," Jack said, his voice tight. "It seems like there's been some tension. People are saying you've been disengaged lately. You're not contributing like you used to. What's going on?" Michael's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't expected this. He hadn't expected Jack to question him, especially after all the work HED put in. But he understood now. It was the work that mattered. It was the perception, and the perception had been shaped by Sarah's influence. She had been working behind the scenes to make him look like a problem, to make him look like someone who wasn't pulling his weight. "Is that really what people are saying?" Michael asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Jack shifted in his seat, clearly uncomfortable. "Look, Michael, we value your work, but we need you to be more visible. We need you to show up, to engage, to contribute to the team dynamic. You're getting passed over for opportunities, and I don't want that for you. I need you to step up." Michael felt the room close in around him. He wanted to shout, to tell Jack the truth, to say, "It's not me, it's her. It's Sarah who's been undermining me. She's been taking credit for my work and making me look bad." But instead, Michael just nodded, his throat tight. "I understand," he said, his voice small. He didn't understand. He didn't agree. But what else could he say? Jack smiled faintly, as if pleased with the conversation. "Great. I know you've got it in you. Just get back out there and show us what you're really capable of." As Michael walked back to his desk, he felt like a weight had settled on his shoulders. He had been blindsided. The whole conversation felt wrong. He hadn't been given a chance to explain. He hadn't been given the chance to defend himself. He hadn't been given the opportunity to clear his name. It was in that moment that Michael made a decision. A decision that would change the course of his career. He wasn't going to let this go on. He wasn't going to stay silent anymore. The first step was to speak up. Michael scheduled a meeting with Jack, and this time, he wasn't going to hold back. He wasn't going to let fear or uncertainty stop him from telling the truth. He gathered the evidence he had minus emails, meeting notes, the work he had done minus, and he brought it to the table. When they met, Michael was direct. "Jack, I need to be honest with you," he said. "I've been working hard on these projects, but there's something happening behind the scenes that I need to bring to your attention. Sarah has been taking credit for my work, and it's affecting my reputation. I'm being overlooked because of it." At first, Jack seemed shocked, but as Michael explained everything minus how Sarah had taken credit for his ideas, how she had manipulated the situation to make him look bad minus, Jack listened carefully. When Michael finished, Jack sat in silence for a long moment. Finally, Jack spoke. "Michael, I had no idea this was going on. I can see now that you've been working hard, and I haven't been paying close enough attention. I'm sorry." Michael felt a sense of relief, but it was mixed with something else, something deeper. He had faced the fear. He had spoken his truth, and now things were changing. Over the next few weeks, the dynamic at work shifted. Jack addressed the team, making it clear that every honest contributions would be acknowledged, and he took steps to ensure that Sarah's behavior didn't continue. Michael felt a renewed sense of respect from his colleagues. He started to regain his confidence. But the real change came when Michael stopped playing the game. He stopped trying to be what everyone expected him to be. He stopped performing. He stopped worrying about what people thought of him. Instead, he focused on doing the work he loved, without needing external validation. This is where karma comes into play. Karma is not just about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. Michael had the choice to stay silent, to let the resentment build, and to let the betrayal continue. But he chose to speak up. He chose to act with integrity, even when it was hard. He chose to trust that doing the right thing would lead to a better outcome, even if it didn't happen immediately. And here's the truth: when you respond with wisdom, when you respond with courage, you shift the energy around you. You break the cycle of negativity, and you create space for positive change. So Michael's story didn't end with him being the victim. It ended with him being stronger. It ended with him being more visible. It ended with him reclaiming his power. Now let me bring this back to you. Have you ever felt sabotaged at work? Have you ever had someone undermine you or make you feel invisible? Have you ever been in a situation where you were scared to speak up, but you knew it was the right thing to do? If so, remember this: you are not powerless. You can choose how you respond. You can choose to face the betrayal with integrity. You can choose to speak your truth, even when it's hard. You can choose to rise above the negativity and create a better path for yourself. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Thank you for being here with me today. I want you to share your experiences in the comments. Have you ever felt sabotaged at work? And what helped you find your strength to speak up? If you want more long-form storytelling that turns work struggles into lessons about awakening, wisdom, karma, compassion, practice, and destiny, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment so this community can grow. If membership support is available and it fits your situation, it helps keep these deeper conversations alive. Until next time, may you trust your voice, may you trust your truth, and may you always choose the path of wisdom over fear.